There was a case in court which is of principal interest. That's Dr. Stephen Opuni's case, and our court correspondent, Lord Eduasari, is joining me in studio for a quick one on this. Lord, what do we know about it? What happened in court today?
So, Alfred, you recall or recollect that the Opuni case has been on for about 5 years, give or take. It started in March. If you add up, right, March 2023 was the 5th year, okay, right from March 2018. Okay, now when this case started, Justice Onyenuga was the one who sat on it.
Right.
Back to March, when he retired, a new judge was put on, Justice Anoche Jima, and he essentially, when was going on with the trial, and he asked the prosecution to file the CMC, okay, and the prosecution had indicated that they were beginning to have challenges because of the time that was involved. Some of the witnesses that were supposed to be called for the case had retired, and so they were having, some of them didn't want to testify anymore. So as at the time when this was being called, this was in April, right?
Right.
They were having challenges getting the witnesses to speak. Now, this has been going on, as far as the Court of Appeals case is concerned, has been going on for a while, because Justice Jima stated in April, right, that they are going to restart the case because of certain allegations that were involved in the case. He knows that it will be unfair.
I see. So this new judge, actually, that's Justice Kwesi Jima, and in a bit we're going to find out a brief detail about this Justice Kwesi Jima, because we're monitoring some media reports that he has been transferred to Kumasi of this case, and there's a new judge.
Yes.
There's a new judge on this case.
So the interesting bit too is that prior to his transfer, the case was supposed to have resumed on July 12th. But with this transfer now, we do not know when the next sitting is going to be. So we just have to be monitoring what is going to come of that. But at the Court of Appeal today, there was an overturn, right, on the ruling by Justice Jima.
I see. So Justice Jima ruled that this case should to start afresh.
Indeed.
All over again, just Dr. Opuni's case.
Yes.
And there's been a new ruling on his ruling.
Exactly.
What is it?
I'd like to read a bit of that. So it was a 3-member panel, okay, by Justice Philip Bright Mensah, as well as Justices Jennifer Dadzi and Dr. Ernest Osudapa. Now, they ruled that, I'm going to quote them. It says, "We are persuaded the lower court misdirected itself and came to a wrong conclusion on the case," which is the Opuni case, right? The decision of the High Court is referred to this court, and appeal is allowed in its entirety. The application for the judge to adopt previous proceedings is granted. The proceedings of the previous courts presided over by Justice Onyenuga are to be adopted by the High Courts differently constituted. The registrar is ordered accordingly. Now, Fred, I must note that even before after the Attorney General filed an appeal against Dr. Jima's ruling, lawyers for Dr. Opuni also noted that they were against the appeal because they were also going with the ruling of the Justice Jima that they expected it to start afresh. Okay, but essentially the Court of Appeal went with what the Attorney General has cited, and that's why they overturned the ruling by the High Court.
Let's see the Attorney General's defense on this, reason why it opposed the fresh start of Dr. Opuni's case. It says the ruling of the court was contrary to the principles of the fair trial contained in Article 19 of the 1992 Constitution, and as decided by the Supreme Court in Republic versus, it goes on, Eugene Bafoboni. Now, the trial judge misdirected himself in the application of the principles regarding the adoption of evidence in a trial. That was the position of the Attorney General against this decision by the Justice Kwesi Jima for this Dr. Stephen Opuni case to start all over again.
Indeed.
I see. So what are we learning about His Lordship Justice Kwesi Jima? What have we been reading so far?
Well, I mean, that's what you indicated. He's someone who has got some strong views on some of these cases. A lot of people have given him plaudits for the way he handles cases. And so this new development, as I should say, comes as a quite surprised that he has been transferred. So we'll see how the coming days will look like in this regard.
Indeed. So these are the reports that we're monitoring, that this Justice Kwesi Jima, who actually ruled that Dr. Stephen Opuni's case be started all over again after 5 years, has been transferred. In fact, we're knocking on the doors of a few courts to get a bit more detail on this, but it's actually been published far and wide. This is what we know, a brief about this Justice Jima we're talking about. This is it. That is a holder of a Master of Law degree in International Criminal Justice and Armed Conflict from the University of Nottingham in Britain, was a law lecturer in the Faculty of Law at the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration, GIMPA, where he taught mainly the law of immovable property. At least gives us an idea of this person and who we're dealing with. Lord, appreciate your time. And in fact, we also do know that Justice Kwesi Anochi Jima took over the case in March 2023 and ruled that the Stephen Opuni trial be restarted.
Indeed.
For being tainted with allegations of unfairness. We'll see how things play out. Lord Edward Sari, thank you so much.